Hi, I'm Professor Ed Blakely. We want to talk about cities on Blakely City Talk, and we first want to talk about what makes a city a good city. What are the elements of good cities, like a good house or a good neighborhood, or what are the features that make your city a great city? Well, we want to talk first about what are the first things you need in thinking about crafting or making a city. And making a city is crafting. It is not building. The word building maybe should never be used because a city has to be crafted by people in your communities who know what and who they want to craft it for. For whom do they want to make this city? And they have to turn dirt, as Robert Moses says, into something that's interesting and exciting. And that takes professionals like those you see here who sit around the table and look at the topography and the locations to determine which ones are right for building and building what for whom. First, the city has to be compact. And how do we create that compactness over relatively large geography? That is a great secret and a very important element in city building. We usually follow the course of a river or a mountain range to help determine where and how to build the city. We build the city along avenues and streets, and these avenues and streets define the way the city can be built, with the largest buildings in the center sloping down to the smaller building, all united by a good transportation system that takes you from large to small. So crafting the city is bringing those elements together, the large elements and the small elements, into something that makes it special. It has to have an identity. When you see that city, you know it, as you see here in Chicago. So let's always craft and recraft our cities. They need us, and we need them. Join me next time as we go into the second element of making a great city. In the meantime, give us a like on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you very much. We want to be liked by you and loved by you. Well, I bet you all have guessed what the next element is to crafting a great city. What are cities built around and on? They're built around and on their streets. Great cities are networks of streets, and every great city has a great street network. It defines the city. The streets help orient you to the city. They go east, west, and north, south. They hold the buildings. They're the envelope for the buildings. And great cities have all kinds of streets, big ones and little ones. But it mostly has these boulevards. They're the spine of the city. And these boulevards help you orient you to the shopping, orient you to where you can move, how the transportation system joins with different forms of transport, be they water or bicycle or streetcar. And it helps you get to those little places that you want to get to, as well as the big places, the center piazza of a city, or that small corner place where you stop with your neighbors and friends to have a drink and relax. So the streets are essential, and how these streets are organized and maintained makes the city and increases its capacity to hold more people. Each city needs to define how it's going to have its little alleyways and byways, as well as its major streets, and define them in ways that people feel they can get away from the main boulevard and define spaces that help them get away from the noise of the big street, but at the same time enjoy the organization that the big street provides. All great cities have these small avenues. In Paris, they're the side street. In New York and in Melbourne, there's that add to the network of streets to make them very interesting places to visit. And they always have a little bit of street art that helps define the place as well. Streets are the soul of our city. Let's have great streets. And please give us a like on Facebook and YouTube. Blakely City Talks, YouTube, and Blakely City Talks on Facebook. We want to hear from you. Thank you for joining us. Well, it's pretty easy to tell what comes next. The fourth element in a great city is buildings. Buildings are the things that make streets look great and feel good. So great buildings define the city. You know where you are from that airplane shot of Chicago or New York or Shanghai or wherever because of the buildings. Buildings provide unique character and characteristics for a city. And all cities that want to be great, that pretend to be great, it's not how big the buildings are, but how they fit the setting. Too many buildings are just there to look at themselves rather than look at the city and take advantage of the city. But it's not the buildings on the outside, it's the building on the inside as well. Here is a very great building, New York's Grand Central Station, where you can do almost anything in this building. But the most important feature of this building is just going to it, standing in it, and looking around, gazing at its great ceilings. They're almost like the Sistine Chapel. They provide an enormously beautiful portico, and you can sit there, rest, and relax. Or you can rest your eyes in Dallas from your park on a beautiful setting, or in Sydney on a brand new building, or here in New York on a magnificent building on a magnificent street. So great buildings help define and refine a city. Great cities depend on great architecture. So it's important that we all get involved in crafting and creating the city and putting in the kind of architecture that helps define it. It's not just for the owner, it's for all of us to define the architecture of a city. So let's all be involved. Architectural excellence is something that you can be involved in. You know something's good when you see it. So be involved. But also be involved in this show. Watch us on YouTube, Blakely City Talk, or live in our live stream, or on Facebook. But give us a like. We like likes. So please give us as many as you can. Thank you very much, and tell all your friends about us as well. Well, it's pretty soup. We have the kettle, system of planning and building. We've added water. That's the street system. And now we're putting some vegetation in, and that is the transportation system. The transportation system is really essential. A smart transportation system that links up all the vegetables, all the pieces together, makes a very rich recipe and an interesting place to live and work. Good transportation has various forms, old and new, bicycles, streetcars, all kinds of things, including waterways, so that you can move from one place to another easily. But land use and transportation have to be brought together so that the land uses and the transportation network work hand in glove. And that's what good planning is all about. It's not doing a plan and then adding some transportation to it, as we seem to do today after the demand is there. It's putting in there just on time so that the transportation system adds that exciting element to a place that allows you to take advantage of it fully and to move away from that place when you want to. So having transportation to the city's airport is important, but having transportation to the city's airways is equally important. So make sure that we design exciting and great transportation systems that get us where we want to be. But I want you to be here listening to the next elements. So please give us a like on Facebook and on YouTube. We like to be liked. Thank you. Goodbye. Well, the next issue is easy. All of us live in a neighborhood or a community. Most of us like the place we live. And most of us like that place to be interesting. And we also want it to be a place that's not all the same. Not all old people, not all young people, not all the same character of housing located in the same places. We want it to have character. And that character means different styles of housing for different ages, for different income levels. So the neighborhood really is a blend of people sharing a common geography and sometimes a common transportation system and many other features that help the neighborhood become a neighborhood. But housing is critical, and housing shouldn't be monolithic. It shouldn't be all for the wealthy or all for the poor. It has to be a mixture of sizes and ranges and types to attract different kinds of people, old and young, and have those facilities within it that make you want to live there and be a part of it, be a resident of the community, not just a person who inhabits it. So the styles of housing, as you can see, can be varied from the highest rise to the lowest, smallest little house, nestled next to a park or other setting, and even representing different kinds of groups from different backgrounds. But housing and neighborhoods means friends and neighbors. And that's what we want in a great city. Great housing for all of our neighbors, nestled into great neighborhoods, with the housing representing all the things that we need through the course of our existence, from being small babies to teenagers, adults, and finally senior citizens. So, we'd like you to hang around in this neighborhood, Blakely City Talk, and listen to more of what we have to say about cities. Please give us a like on Facebook and on YouTube, Blakely City Talk. Thank you for viewing. We'll see you again next time. Well, nothing's more important in the community than to have things in it you like, things you like to do, exciting things, interesting things that make your community the kind of place that even other people want to come to because there's something there, some coffee shops, some interesting venues like the High Line in New York, or a public plaza, or an interesting little nook where people hang out for coffee. All these things give your place a little bit of excitement, something beyond the ordinary, something that gets you out of the house and makes you want to go out onto the street and see other people, have some coffee with them, dine with them. But this space needs to be special, kind of space that you want to spend time in, where you can sit, mingle with friends, have a chat, have a meal, talk business even. Interesting places in these spots, like a long table, are very important to the ambiance of the place. And great places have unusual features, like this baby floating in the air, or an exciting little spot for children to play, or just a walking area. All great places have something that makes them slightly exciting, and you can usually see it on the street. So make sure your place isn't just vanilla, with a few shops, newspaper places, bus stop. Make it the kind of place that other people want to come to. And when you say the name of your place, everybody wants to be there. So when we say the name Blakely City Talks, we want everyone to be there. Please join us. Give us a like on Facebook. Tag us. Make sure that other people hear us and see us on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for watching. See you for our next feature on Blakely City Talks. Well, now you see me in an exciting venue for myself, and that is in a sports venue. But every community has to have sports venues, interesting sports venues, for the kind of sport you do and sports that you involve yourself in with others. But we all need some recreation and sport in our community. And that might be taking a gondola if you're in Venice. But you have to have the recreation spots, the place to get away from it all, in the woods or on an interesting street, or just a little play area in a nice little park. And sometimes it's a crowded space. That's interesting and exciting too. Or a painted space on a street. All these things offer a little bit of additional adrenaline and make it interesting for you to be there. And you might be a person who owns a boat or goes boating, or you might go to the big stadium for a sporting match, or simply take a walk along the shoreline to see the interesting things in your community, including an interesting skyline. Every community has to have eye appeal, a little bit of community appeal where you can hang out and be excited about what's going on there. Your community deserves to have the kind of sport that you can participate in, the kind of sport you can go and visit. You can always have more to do in your community, and you have to plan for it. Don't keep it out, bring it in. And bring us in on Blakely City Talk, on YouTube, on Blakely City Talk, on Facebook. Give us a few likes. We'd like to be with you.